a lot of money in all of this. Why are our enrollments going down? United States, it's because we outsourced a lot of stuff. And in fact, now we are focusing more on design issues. And I think that's an important thing. The kingdom has a marvelous opportunity here to not only solve technological problems, but design problems. And I think that that is an important message, because those are important research topics. So what do schools really need? If we're going to succeed, what do universities need all over? First thing you have to have is good students. The students who I have had from Saudi Arabia have been excellent. I know that they're good students. But the other thing which they have to understand is that teaching and research are not separable. If I just focus on teaching, my students will learn history. And if I just focus on research, my students will not learn enough about the practical things that they need to know every day. There must be a balance. The plan for your Center of Excellence in Information Assurance here at King Saud University is one which balances those. We had meetings yesterday where we talked about what we needed to do and how we could balance it. That is exciting because it's the right set of questions to be asking. Another thing which people need are laboratory facilities. This is a picture of a group of my students who are busily playing in our lab, but they have to have a variety of equipment. Why do they have to have that variety of equipment? Because we want to be neutral. We want to be able to say, we've looked at it lots of different ways. And my students added this to the slide. They said, you have to have ergonomic chairs, comfortable chairs, because these students spend a lot of time sitting in them. So I thought, I'll leave that on the slide for them, because I said, they sit on their brains sometimes, so that they must do that. My program is also unique in that it demonstrates the interdisciplinary nature. Remember in that earlier slide, I talked about the fact that we had to have lots of things as part of this. My information assurance program sits in with an MBA. The students, if they're a computer science major, they have to take more business stuff. If they're a business major, they have to take more computer stuff. They have to go through the entire program that way. And when they come out, there's a waiting list for graduates. That's what you will find here in Saudi Arabia as well. You will have a waiting list of qualified students. Some things we've had are 100% of our graduates are placed. And then we look at this part. Internationally, there are exams offered by ISC squared, the SSCP and CISSP exam. There are more than, I guess I could actually say, almost 70,000 people worldwide have passed those. There are several hundred here in the kingdom. My students pass it 100% first time, not because I think it's the greatest exam, but it's a way that managers looking at my students can compare them. My school is in, as I said, I'm in a small school in the middle of nowhere. My students, nobody knows. If they look at my friend from Georgia Tech, they know his program. Georgia Tech is a world-renowned top 10 program in the world. They look at my colleague, Gene Spafford. They look at his program and they say, his is world-renowned. They look at my program and they say, where's Idaho? What's this about? But my students are able to do this. And one of the things that I would highly recommend is, as you move forward in Saudi Arabia, you look at external ways of validating your students as well as internal. Not so much because you have to, but it gives you a greater strength. It gives your students something of increased value. Other things that we do, and it matches your national plan, your Center of Academic Excellence, is we actually admit students very early to our program. I actually have admitted high school students to the program. I have found them and I've said, this is a brilliant kid. I'll offer him a full scholarship if he'll plan on coming, and he'll work with me during the year, and he'll go through his undergraduate degree, and he'll do his master's degree all with me. Because it's important that you find the best and the brightest wherever they are from and bring them there. Do not forget that you can do better. This is a slide that we use frequently. Don't lose your memory. It's something that we hang up on the walls to remind people, don't lose your memory stick. Or maybe we tell them to beware of phishing. We do awareness things. We make people aware of what we are trying to accomplish. The last thing you have to do is look at it from the manager's perspective. You have to establish the value of your program. You have to understand the processes that people use. You have to make sure that there is integrity in those processes. Remember when we were talking about what CAEs need to do. They need to have a process which has integrity. And there's time dependence. If I don't respond quickly to a teaching opportunity, I will in fact end up teaching them how to fix a problem that isn't there anymore. So I must be timely in it. Why use external certification? I have to be careful of those because there are many of them out there. And it's important at some level that you can certify somebody can run a particular piece of hardware or a particular piece of software. But those aren't enduring values for management. They need to know that someone can do it all, and that in fact they can do some research. You want to look at certification that attests to how an individual has been taught. And what you really want them to be able to do is think critically. You want them to be able to stop and question something. Why are we doing it this way? Remember, I only have the states of information. I have my countermeasures. I have very little that I can do. And I have to make sure that they question all of those things. And they question it not only in an academic setting, but in a research setting, constantly challenging what is out there. I have been known to give my students a research report, which is complete nonsense, and then ask them to come back to class and explain it to me. I'll make something up, complete nonsense. And you'd be surprised how many students come back and try to make sense out of this nonsense. Those aren't the students that we need. Those are not the ones that will protect critical infrastructure. What we need are the ones that will look at me and say, Professor, that paper was nonsense. What did you mean? Make something out of it. One of my colleagues earlier today talked about a sort of a test that they used to give people sometimes. They would give them some grapes and say, go run them in the microwave. Some people would, without question, go run the grapes in the microwave. Others would stop and say, why would you do that? What good does it do? Those are the ones you really want to have. Everybody has an approach to this. Some of these need to be technologically based. Others need to be more managerial. There is something for all of us in there. Everybody has to be able to do part of it. There is no easy answer. Again, I'm using certification as just one measure. Which certification should I include? Which one should I do? It depends upon what you want. But here are some things that you want to think about, and these are characteristics of a good program as well. Because every time I say certification, you can also say computer security or information assurance academic program. How long has it been in existence? The one here at King Saud University, in terms of computer science and information assurance, the combination has been here for more than a quarter of a century. That's important. How does it conform to international standards? It does. Lots of people have looked at it and says it does.